Hi everybody, I'm Kelly from Kelly Kerr's Condo Corner. I just wanted to take a few minutes and give you an introduction to a series I'm going to do about the history of mobile home parks. And I know that sounds boring, but it really isn't, I promise. There's all kinds of drama and intrigue and plenty of tea to spill along the way. I apologize that it's so dark. It's been raining outside all day and I don't have very good lighting. So I'm just going to tell you about some of my first experiences managing mobile home communities. The first one I had is when I had a portfolio of about 20 communities, and one of them happened to be a mobile home community, and it had a 15-member board. And if you guys know anything about boards, having 15 people is a lot to say. So anyway, the company I worked for liked to switch properties around all the time. So one of my mentors brought me over to a new community I was going to manage. I mean, new to me, not new to them. And she introduced me as an expert to managing mobile home communities. And I wasn't an expert, I had just started, but I made it my mission to become an expert, and now I consider myself to be an expert. So there's really two kinds of mobile home communities, and they can be mixed together as well. There's the ones that I'm licensed to manage are resident-owned mobile home communities, and their dues are a lot lower because they own the land, or in some cases they're paying off a mortgage. So one of the ones I managed full-time, it was more than 500 homes, nearly 100 acres of land with all kinds of rivers and creeks running through it. It had a mixture of both renters, which is governed by Florida Chapter 723, meaning they don't own any part of it. They just rent out the lot. And there they didn't want to sell that many of the lots because they needed the renters to pay off the mortgage. So once the mortgage was paid off, then they could all become members. So there's all kinds of drama and intrigue on that community, so much that I started writing a book about it. So I'll release little parts of that book as we go along. And the only thing I don't have on the book is an ending. So hopefully between now and then I will decide what the ending will be. But if you guys make comments along the way, it would really help me out if you would subscribe and hit like and write any kind of comments, any kind of feedback. That would be great. So anyway, I went to manage this new mobile home place to me, and it was really an interesting place because it had 2 circles, and all of the electrical wire and everything they had was all underground. So that was really interesting. And I had a very sweet lady that lived there. She was 90 years old, and she came to me, and other women that lived there came to me and told me that somebody was stalking her, and it was an 89-year-old man, and that the prior summer she'd had a real hard time with him and nobody would help her. So of course I'm not going to let that happen. I had to help her. And he was doing things like he knew where she hid her extra key, so he would stare at her while she was sleeping in the bedroom. He would hide in the bushes and take pictures of her or just watch her coming and going. I tried to talk to him and there was no way. He kept saying, she said forever, we'll get back together. And I said, no, you're not going to get back together. I had his daughter-in-law come in and threaten to put me on the news for trying to evict an 89-year-old man. And she just kept trying to talk to me forever. And then the lady came in and she was horrified because the daughter just grabbed her and hugged her. And unfortunately, they were on the other side of the desk, so I couldn't grab her back because she was looking at me all terrified. But anyway, to make a long story short, I rallied up some of the other women there. She was able to get a temporary restraining order, but to get a final restraining order, you have to go to court. So since stalking is a felony, they had to go to court, and the judge said that he would not put him in prison if he moved immediately and never came back again. If he ever trespassed, he would end up in prison. So that's how that worked out, which was nice. So she didn't have to worry about that anymore. And she must have said thank you to me 1,000 times. She was so sweet. Most of the people there in any of these communities are just as sweet as they can be. They'll invite you to their house for dinner, bring you food, all kinds of nice things like that. So I have a lot of stories to tell within different communities. And, things started to get worse as people started fighting, especially once COVID hit. Sorry about that, get thirsty. So I'll leave you with this one parting comment with this bit of tea. I came in on a Monday morning to read my emails, and one of the board members had emailed someone targeting a particular person in the community and copied the entire community. And it said, when communist Russia invaded Czechoslovakia, your family profited while your neighbors suffered in the streets. I thought, oh my goodness, do I need to pop some popcorn? What's going on? But in reality, I put the community in a timeout. And they thanked me for it because that was just too much pettiness coming up. And the woman even came back and countered that it wasn't true and she could prove it. And that happened in the 1960s. So really, that was out there. So I'll leave you with that, and thank you so much for watching. Again, it's Kelly from Kelly Kerrs Condos. You can follow me on all social media, everything except Twitter or X. I'm on there, but I don't really use it. Thanks. Bye.